Hi, I'm Erin.
And I'm Harrison. This is Studio 20 Live.
Well, welcome to the season finale episode for season 1 of Studio 20 Live. I'm honoured to be co-hosting with Harrison here.
Thank you, Erin. The pleasure is all mine.
There's certainly been some highlights this season. We've certainly learnt a lot this season on live broadcasting, that's for sure. But yeah, some highlights. What would you say is your favourite moment of the season?
Well, we've had a lot of great guests on the show, a lot of special Limelight guests telling us a lot of new things, and a lot of great musical guests as well. We've had Luke Buckley on the violin, we've had Dan Kenaway on the didgeridoo, We Came for Dinosaurs, so many great musical guests.
Great. There's lots of lovely talent in the Illawarra, that's for sure.
Definitely.
I don't know if it would be my favourite moment, but it would certainly be a highlight of the season is when Trent had an attempt at nudity.
Yeah, that was certainly a memorable moment.
Yeah, that definitely stuck with a lot of us for all the wrong reasons, but that's enough of that. We'll certainly be making some new memories on today's episode of Studio 20 Live with UOWTV Shortcuts, where Trent went to check out the UOW Flame, and of course, later on we'll have the news with Andre.
After that, we've got My Kitchen Go Rules. Kevin's back for that with another South American special. And we've also got The Rant with Ranthony Serrano this week.
But first up, we've got the Limelight with Joe Sterling, who is currently doing a master's study on the visualisation of waste. Well, welcome to the couch, Joe. It's lovely to have you.
Lovely to meet you, Erin.
Tell us a little bit about your research at the moment.
Okay, so my research has been a really interesting journey. I'm a designer, and I'm really interested in the way that design communicates, obviously visual communication, but I'm particularly interested in design's relationship to sustainable practice and sustainability. So my investigations are around waste, so deep in waste and visualising information so that everyday people can actually kind of understand, try and make more inquiry about the state of waste in Australia particularly.
And we understand that your project is called the Modern Midden.
Mm-hmm.
What is a midden and what makes yours modern?
Okay, Midden is, in archaeological terms, a midden is a place where not necessarily humans, animals would do it as well, but dig a hole in the ground and leave the remnants of whether their community had been there. So there may be the remnants of bones or shells or tools or pottery and things like that that are left behind, buried, sometimes not buried, they can be left behind, but all of those kinds of, older middens, the objects inside those middens are biodegradable, they're made from nature. But a modern midden is a non-biodegradable landfill site. So yeah, modern midden. We're digging holes in the earth and putting lots of waste that can't biodegrade or go back to the earth.
Wow, yeah.
And you recently had your project launch in Kangaroo Valley?
Yeah, I did, yeah. It was part of a residency program and a really good opportunity for me to test the project, test the scale of the project, because it's a large-scale installation where people move through the space to look at the visualisations that are 5 metres long, some of them, and to actually bring some waste themselves and place it in the space. And so this accumulated over a period of time and creates kind of very uncomfortable environment, uncomfortable experience. So lots of ways that I was trying to engage participation in the project.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We've actually got some footage of that launch, so how about we check that out and see how it went?
Great.
The question is whether or not visualising in particular ways, all sorts of different ways, has an impact on the way people respond to particular big wicked problems. So problem of waste and waste management is a big one. The issue itself is tangible, physical, it's about garbage, it's about trash, it's about how we organise our stuff and how we connect with it or don't connect with it. We've got 10 million households in Australia, and in this space here there's 100,000 households visualised. So they can choose a particular dot and be a household and make a pledge. I think design for social change is what I'm really actually very engaged in. I'm engaged in that in my teaching practice, and particularly for designers, because we're integral in the middle of often the process of making artefacts, the process of, we're in between manufacturers, we're sort of part of that making economy. If we could just think about the next 24 hours and then the next week, we might be able to disrupt our own internal system and change, actually consider the possibility that we might actually enjoy changing things. We might actually like it. I didn't take plastic bags.
That's a really moving video, Jo, and it's clearly a subject that's close to your heart.
Thanks, Harrison. Yeah, look, this research has taken me on a long journey, and yeah, certainly within my own community, it's been emotional too, because I've had so much involvement and engagement, and people have been really enthusiastic and learnt so much. It's been a really amazing journey, actually.
Yeah. On that note, particularly concerning students, why do you think it's so important that students learn more about the importance and the visualisation of waste, but particularly through graphic design?
I think one of the key things is that, Australians are the second highest producers of waste per capita in the world. Yeah. So we make second amount of garbage per person globally. It's pretty kind of confronting, and I think the next generation and the generations to come are really starting to get a handle on how our materials economy and the way we consume things needs to really shift, and bring an awareness to actually the things that we buy, our purchasing habits, how we dispose of things. On campus there are, I don't know how many people visit campus once a day. Yeah. Thousands of people. So thinking about how we engage with our own campus and how that can be part of our culture here at UOW. My design students are working on a great project that actually brings some of the positive feedback to students and staff on campus about what's happening, but also about how we can do better, how we can do more and really see what it is that we're doing.
And that is a real challenge, especially for design students, who most of them would probably be looking at going into careers in an industry that produces so much waste, and that's a real challenge for them.
I think, and part of what I'm teaching is that real shift about designers not just designing for something to be pretty or to be disposable. That design is the design thinking is an integral way. In terms of industry, manufacturing, the production of the entire life cycle of a project or a product, an artefact just it begins and ends, and that the design process and that designers actually need to think about the entire process of making things, how they begin and end. Yeah.
Well, you had
this is not a new idea, but
yeah. Well, you had a great response on social media with Facebook and everything. So just tell us a little bit about, why communication is so important in this project.
I think, Erin, that's been a really great journey for me. That in fact this has become a conversation. So it's become an ongoing conversation that's drawing from resources all over the place and conversations that are happening, lots of conversations that are happening on social media. So if you're interested in looking at that, the Modern Midden has a Facebook page of its own, and that conversation is ongoing. The project itself will be launched up here at Innovation Campus again. So the actual project is building on itself as it goes. It's a movable feast, and the installation can move into all sorts of spaces. Yeah.
Well, that's really exciting. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, Jo.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Really enjoyed learning about that.
Pleasure. Thank you.
We've actually got a second Limelight segment today. Alice, one of our UOWTV multimedia reporters, spoke to Tina Rizkala. She's the founder and CEO of Pep Talks. She launched this idea at Youth TEDx conference and actually received an internship. So we're going to have a look at that video with Alice and Tina having a chat now.
Thank you so much for coming in, Tina.
Thank you very much for having me, Alice.
Can you tell us about the concept of Pep Talks?
Absolutely. So Pep Talks is a new organisation which is based around youth mental health awareness and prevention. The primary goal of Pep Talks as the organisation is to hold these speakers seminars where people that have had struggles in the past will come along in a Pep Talk seminar and go back to their universities, so Wollongong Uni for example, but also just their hometowns, their old sports clubs, things anywhere that they really feel like spreading the word, to share their story with the people that are there now.
And you came up with this concept yourself.
Yeah, I did.
And how did you come to the realisation that there was more support needed for youth mental health awareness?
I think mostly it was through my own experiences. Growing up from about high school, I started to notice that a lot of my friends and people that were close to me were having struggles with everyday things. So, family issues, friendship issues, and then that moved into being stress, anxiety, depression, and then, things sort of just continued to go on until I had some friends that had developed eating disorders, developed other mental illnesses that maybe are less common than I guess the big three that you'd hear about, being anxiety, depression, and drug and alcohol abuse. There's stigma out there. There's all these horrible things that make people suffer in silence, and I just felt the need to get the word out there, get people talking, realise that these things happen to everyone. Everyone has tough times in their life, and the more we talk about it and the more we can normalise it, the more people that are suffering can say, hey, this isn't that bad. I'm not the only one. This isn't weird. It's happening to other people. I'm not ashamed. I can talk about it.
And you're relaunching your website soon, and before that there's going to be a photo campaign. How can we get involved in that?
So at the moment, we're just about to launch our photo campaign, which is essentially a way of getting the Pep Talks name out there whilst also getting people on board that might be interested in speaking later down the track. So what we're doing is a photo campaign where anyone who's interested can hit us up on our Facebook page, and we'll come to them, take a photograph just of their face and get a little pep talk from them, just a little bit about who they are, where they come from, what struggles they've been through and what they learnt from it. And so by doing that, we're hoping to build this beautiful gigantic web page, and also we're going to put it up on our Instagram account and on our Facebook, just of this sea of faces who are happy to say, yeah, you know what, I've had a struggle, I've had a hard time, it was difficult for me, but I'm happy to talk about it, so maybe it won't be as difficult for you.
Opening up the conversation.
Exactly, opening up that conversation and just letting people know that it's encouraging people to talk about mental health and get that conversation flowing so people know that they're not alone.
And it's quite a new approach as well, because a lot of people argue that social media and the internet has removed us from human connection, but how are you using this to connect with people?
Well, it's a really good question, and you've got a really good point. One thing that we are 100% focused on doing is using these social media platforms as a way to reach the masses, because at the end of the day there is no other platform these days that can give you that reach that you can get online. But working in healthcare myself, I'm very, very aware of the need to show that, of the fact that each individual is different, and the need to show each person that you work with and each person that you talk with that, their story is special, their story is an individual story, and everyone needs to be treated differently based on, what they've been through. So by coming onto our Facebook, getting in contact, emailing through, hitting up our website.
Hashtagging Pep Talks.
You can hit us up, let us know you're interested, and then we'll get in contact with you via email. And from then on, it's a really personal process. It's not just a form.
And you've also got the seminars as well, which I think really puts a face to a name and gets that human interaction that you wouldn't otherwise receive on the web.
100%. So, yeah, it is a very personal process, and we know that everyone's story is different and unique, and we don't just want anyone hopping online, filling out a form and just being, you know, a number, photo number 57. You know, you're Alice Matthews, this is your story, and we want to work with each person very closely, I guess, and make sure that it's not a, you know, removed sort of social media thing.
It's an awesome cause to get involved with, and one that's going to be really easy for a lot of people to connect with and to get involved with, it being online. So best of luck with your relaunch.
Thank you very much.
And yeah, we'll be behind you.
Thank you very much, Alice, and thanks to everyone here at Wollongong Uni.
No worries. Wow, Pep Talks, it really is such a great way for students and graduates, you know, to get that sort of support as they go into the workforce.
Definitely. Well, mental health issues is something that we didn't really know much about until recently, I suppose, and it's still kind of taboo to talk about it. So I'm glad that somebody is wanting to get students involved and get graduates involved to support the next generation coming through and get more conversation about this issue happening.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you can find more information about Pep Talks on the website peptalks.com.au. And of course, don't forget to hashtag Studio 20 Live, because that's what we, that's our hashtag.
If you're interested in anything that we've talked about on the show so far, if you've got any feedback, hit us up on Twitter. We'd love to hear what you have to say. But right now, we are going to be joined by Trent in the studio, who's going to be talking to us about the UOW Flame. Hey Trent, good to have you back on the couch.
Yeah, it's been a while. You guys have done a good job though.
Thank you.
For old time's sake, do you mind if I hashtag Studio 20 Live? I miss doing that.
Good job, yeah. I've learnt from the best, as you can see.
You're doing really well. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Erin, yeah.
Oh, look.
You did great.
Thanks, mate.
So what can you tell us about the UOW Flame?
Well, I don't know, it's won a fair few awards. The Solar Decathlon over in China was a really big achievement for the uni, but Tuesday, they won the Green Gown Award, which is for building a student-made sustainable housing project. And it's the fourth time they've built it, and it's finally going to stay at innovation, not building it anymore. And it's the first of a sustainability street. They're going to build a few more of these houses over the innovation campus.
That sounds cool. Let's check out the video now, shall we?
Harrison, I'll throw. Let's check out the video right now.
The University of Wollongong's Flame House, the 2013 Solar Decathlon champion, has won another award, this time the Green Gown Award for student-run sustainable home projects.
It is, yeah. It's amazing to see the house finally complete. As a lot of people know, this is the fourth time it's been built, so we built it initially over at TAFE. We rebuilt it here about 20 metres that way over a year ago, and then we shipped it to China exactly a year ago. So it's really great to finally see it back here where it's going to stay permanently.
As I said when I was presenting the award, as soon as I saw the application go in, I was thinking there's no way that won't win, because it is a pure and utter amazing example of student initiatives and best practice for innovation.
This is not the last house being built, with it being the first of a sustainability street being built here at the Innovation Campus.
Right here and around this house is going to be what's called a green street, so there'll be a number of other sustainable homes built. I don't know how they're getting done currently, whether it'll be through other Solar Decathlon competitions or whether it'll be through other funding. I'm not sure.
It couldn't be a better step in the right direction, because the more houses we build, which we do a lot of, and the more that are unsustainable, the more it's contributing to resource depletion and climate change and all the other issues that we're dealing with on a regular basis nowadays.
Hopefully it's not the final award. We're still entering it in various other awards, but it's a fantastic award to have. The Australasian Campuses Towards Sustainability Award is one of the peak environmental awards in the higher education system in Australia, and I think in the world. So taking out both the Australasian and the international awards is fantastic. It's good to see the house and the project and all the hard work we put in not only recognised in Australia but also recognised internationally.
Trent Thomas, UOW Update.
I really can't get my mind around the fact that they took a house overseas?
It's just like Lego. You take it apart
Is
and
it
you
like,
ship back
is it
over.
like Lego though, Trent?
That's the impression I got.
All right, fair enough.
Seemed pretty easy. They built it 4 times. It must be pretty
They must
easy.
be used to it by now.
They literally moved it 20 metres over from where it originally was. It must be pretty easy.
It's kind of interesting that it's all about sustainability, but they would have burnt so much fuel taking it around the world and back.
Yeah, but they might have put it in a giant glass bottle and just nudged it.
Yeah, send it over the shores.
Yeah,
Well, thanks for joining us, Trent. That was a really great video. We're going to cut to a break now, and we're going to check out what's on in Wollongong. We've got our news guru, Andre, with us now. How are you, Andre?
Good, thanks. How you going, guys?
Yeah, really well, thanks. Having fun over here in the studio. How's it going for you over in Building 25?
Not bad at all.
Good to hear.
Alrighty, so on to the news topics for this week. First off, we're going to have a little bit of a chat about the UOWFC, who are claiming that they aren't getting any funding at all from the university. Could you give us a little bit more on that?
Yeah, well, from what I know, a tip-off about UOW Football Club claiming that they're not receiving any funding from clubs or societies, and they're also being charged quite a fair bit to use the grounds and facilities, which, I mean, yeah, it's pretty obvious. You need to use the grounds for a football game. And we spoke to the club's president, I believe, Chris Barras, about exactly what was going on.
We're here with Craig Barras, president of UOWFC. You're having some funding issues with the university. Could you expand on that?
Oh, it's just something that we've been having to deal with for a number of years now. We've, trying to keep the club afloat, as a number of university sporting clubs are, and really need the university to step up to the plate and increase and actually provide some funding for sporting clubs.
What type of funding are you getting from the student union or the university?
Currently nothing. Back previously, we received funding from student union payments back before 2006. Since then, we haven't received anything, even with the reintroduction of that recently, and UOW themselves don't provide any funding to us to support university students playing sport.
And what would you use that money for if you got more funding?
Well, predominantly towards ground hire. I mean, we have to pay, ground hire rates, even though they're university facilities, to allow our players to play. So it would basically cover that to at least allow us to keep operating.
And do other universities give their clubs funding?
Yeah, as I understand it, there's universities such as the Sydney University that contribute a significant amount of money towards their sporting clubs. And as a result, their clubs are quite strong and playing in interstate and intercity competitions.
What do you think the university gains from UOWFC?
Well, at the moment, they're getting great exposure both in the local community from clubs such as us, the football club, and also cricket and hockey and union playing in inter-city competitions, and also state and in some cases national competitions.
Okay, thanks for that, Craig. Back to you guys.
Well, that's a really interesting tip-off that we got from Craig Barras there, the president of UOWFC. He also pointed out that they've been a club since 1971 working with the uni, so it is a shame they're not getting any funding at the moment. We spoke to Megan Hoosman from the UOW Academic Registrar's Office, and she just sent us through a statement. She said that in 2012 and 2013, students ranked sport and recreation as the 6th highest priority for funding. However, she also said that they're working with groups like URAC, UOW Sports Clubs, and the students at the moment to work out how they can increase this funding. And the group's going to deliver its recommendations to the uni by the end of the second quarter of 2014. So by the end of the month, we should find out what's going on with funding for UOWFC and other sports clubs around the uni. But moving on from sports to research now, we found out on Tuesday that some researchers from UOW have received quite a substantial grant from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. What can you tell us about that, Andre?
Well, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation have a challenges series, and one of their big challenges at the moment, because the foundation focuses on AIDS research, is a grant to develop a new generation condom. Doctors Sina Nafisi and Dr. Robert Gorkin developed a hydrogel that feels closer to natural tissue than latex. And one of the big issues in Africa with condom use is that most men prefer not to use it, and it has led to a lot of sort of dispersion, a lot of STIs, STDs and AIDS and things like that. So it's the big sort of development comes from, trying to find a next generation condom. There's only been 52 grants given out of 111,000 applications, and it's about $100,000 twice a year. So it's actually a pretty sizey grant. It's a fantastic news for two UOW researchers.
Yeah, definitely. That's great news for the team, and hopefully they'll be successful with this product and go on to get that $1 million grant as well. That'd be fantastic exposure.
Definitely, it'd be great for the university. Now, on Monday, the UOWTV multimedia reporters were at the anti-racism pledge. Could you tell us a little bit about what that was doing in terms of raising awareness within the student culture?
Yeah, so the University of Wollongong and a number of businesses, sporting bodies and non-government organisations are sort of gathering to support a campaign called Racism, It Stops With Me, which started on June the 2nd. It's been running until the end of next year, and it's been set up with the Human Rights Commission. Just to support raising awareness of what racism actually is and stopping it from happening. I believe where we spoke to Julie Croft, who's from the Employment Equity and Diversity Division at UOW.
Can do. So our campaign today is really educating people that racism does exist and that they can take personal responsibility to help eliminate racism. We've got a pledge board here. We're encouraging people to sign that, to make a personal commitment, to have a look at the Australian Human Rights Commission's website to see what they can do. So our
Well, that's really interesting because I've seen the posters on the buses around campus and things like that, and it was great that students had a chance to get involved and to sign up for what is definitely a really worthy cause and an important subject to be part of. We're going to talk now about The Turd. They're the student magazine at the university, and I understand they're relaunching their website and launching a new issue. Andre, what do we know about that?
Yeah, so Tatangular is, UOW student magazine. I was editor last year. It was good fun, a lot of hard work. But they've just set up a new website, revamping it, and also they're releasing their third issue for the year, which is the food issue, which is kind of exciting. And we spoke to the co-editors, Belinda and Brett, about the next issue on the website.
I'm here with Brittany Carter, co-editor and chief of the Tatangular, the student magazine. You got some stuff going on. You launched your website this week. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so we recently launched our website, or relaunched I should say. It's really important for publications to go online so they can compete with all the new technology. So I've just relaunched our website, made it all snazzy and pretty. And there's going to be some web exclusive stuff on there. There's going to be some news articles, some reviews, some interviews with gigs. So the actual launch of it is next Wednesday night at RAD, and there'll be Jenga, Scrabble, a bar tab, and a nice wall where you can just do a little art mural for us. So everyone's welcome, and it should be good fun.
So you got your new issue launching next week. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so the food issue is due back from the printers next Monday, early next week sometime, and that will just be distributed around campus. So the theme of it's food, so you'll have all your regular news and columns and debate and all of that, but it will just be mostly focused around food.
And what's some of the main articles in this week?
I don't want to spoil anything, but we've got some really cool stuff. People haven't just taken food; they've just thought about it critically and taken a different angle on it. So we've got a few pieces about. One of the really good ones is why it's not good to eat gluten-free food if you're not gluten-free, or you should be eating gluten-free food. One of the other really good ones is cheap cooks for bad cooks. That's a really funny one. And we've got a few different debates and opinion articles about the food issue. Yeah.
Thanks, Brittany. Well, that issue will be available next week, the food issue of the Tangula. Until then, back to you guys in the studio.
Well, I think I can speak for both of us in saying that a food issue is certainly right up our alley.
And we've actually got exclusive news that the food issue is available today on campus.
Sorry, Trent, but it's today.
So if you want to hit up that food, do it right now. It'll be around campus.
Hit up that food issue, yes, definitely. And currently happening at the moment at McKinnon Lawn on campus, there are some events going on in the wake of NAIDOC Week. There's some sausage sizzles going on and some DIY t-shirt making. Do you know much more about that, Andre?
Yeah, well, like you were just saying, speaking of food, there's a sausage sizzle and t-shirt printing today for NAIDOC Week. NAIDOC Week is the week set up to sort of raise awareness of issues that Indigenous and Torres Strait Islanders Australians face. And we spoke to one of the organisers of today's event.
Today's event specifically is an acknowledgement to NAIDOC Week, which happens every year in Australia the first week of July. That is a kind of a national acknowledgement to traditional Indigenous culture, and we just wanted to promote the idea of appreciation of the Indigenous culture, hoping that some people might get to local events in the region this year and enjoy themselves.
Well, with the Walk for Reconciliation last week and now our NAIDOC today, it's a really good opportunity for UOW students to find out more about the First People of Australia and to get involved with those issues. Thanks very much for joining us today, Andre.
Not a problem.
And speaking of food, you know, we've got the food issue of the Turt. We've got a sausage sizzle available now for those who want to check it out on the McKinnon Lawn. But earlier this week, we had Kevin joining us with My Kitchen Go rules for more Central American cuisine.
Hey guys, I'm here at the Kitchen Go outside Building 25 when today I'm going to be teaching you how to make another Mexican dish, the nachos. What you're going to be needing is a tray, some nachos, some bean paste, and some cheese. Now the first thing you're going to have to do is to get the nachos out onto the tray. Choose however much you want. And once that is done, get your choice of filling. For me it's going to be bean paste. So if you want, you can use chicken or beef or turkey. And following your choice of filling, put some cheese on top so it all melts together. Make sure that there's a fair amount of cheese so that the nachos are not, you know, drowning underneath it. Then put it in here for 1 minute. Once it's done out of the microwave, like this, ta-da! Back to you guys in the studio.
Oh, Kev, he lost a really good chip there.
Yeah, I've got to say that did look delicious. The plating maybe wasn't MasterChef quality, but the presentation of the presenter himself, the hat and scarf.
Yes, definitely. And I may swap bean paste for salsa. I don't know.
Yeah, or actual beans maybe.
That too, you know, if you want to get organic. All right, well now we've got the rant with Ranthony this week, who's going to have a little bit of a chat to students on campus about wearing shoes to uni.
Another week, another rant. I'm Anthony Serrano, and this week we're taking a look at people's opinions on being barefoot at uni.
It's really disgusting. We have ducks everywhere, and I just assume they're chatting in duck poo all day, which is really gross.
It's disgusting because feet are gross and smelly, and they don't look very nice.
One of my friends actually wore no shoes to uni.
How do you feel so comfortable that you can not wear shoes in a place that has like possible glass and like hepatitis B like on the floor?
And some guy like peed on his foot because he wasn't wearing shoes at the urinal.
Yeah. Oh, wow. A lot of people pretty upset about not wearing shoes to uni. I mean, personally, if you want to walk around barefoot at uni, I think it's your choice. I'm not too upset about it.
Yeah, no, if you want to feel the grass in your toes and whatnot, then be our guest.
Yes, and get nice, maybe the duck poo could be a nice exfoliant for your feet.
Exactly.
Or
I don't know,
moisturiser or something.
but I don't know if we should get into that too much right now. We've gone from food to feet and duck poo, so it's been a lovely episode so far.
Yeah, we don't mean to put you off your food here, but unfortunately this is the end of our final episode for this season at least.
And it is also the end of Studio 20 Live for Harrison.
Yeah,
which is a shame.
Graduating
just because he's
in
graduating and leaving us all here, but
hopefully.
You know, there's going to be big and bright things in your future, Harrison.
Thank you, and I'll look back on Studio 20 Live with many fond memories.
Yep.
We've also wanted to let you know that we will be back next semester, all things going according to plan. You'll see us on O-Day, so stay tuned for that. And thanks for watching us today and this semester.
Yep, have a great break and take it easy, UOW.
Stay classy, Wollongong.